Hi co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. Do you remember the little bit of drama that's been going on between Kail and Briana when it comes to the family reunion being aired on MTV? Well, just to refresh your memory in case you forgot about a couple of pieces of it, in the premiere episode, Briana claims that she didn't really understand why Kail had a lawsuit against her or why she didn't show up for the family reunion. She said that she felt as though they could have worked things out together outside of, I'm laughing because it's just it's ridiculous, right? Another thing that Briana mentioned on the debut episode was that the main reason why Kail was like pissed off at her was because she was added as a new girl on Teen Mom 2, and that, you know, maybe Kail was intimidated by that. And so Kail shot back on this week's episode and she said that a main reason why she was pissed at MTV for just bringing Briana onto the show was that they did it in a very shady way, and that Briana was also kind of shady about joining the show as well. She actually says that the plan was initially for Kail to fly down to Florida to introduce Briana to like Teen Mom 2 and everything like that because they already had a friendly connection. Remember, Briana and Briana's sister Brittany all got their BBLs together with Dr. Miami, and then Briana and Brittany were also at Kail's 23rd birthday, which I didn't remember. I remembered the friendship BBL, but I did not remember the 23rd birthday thing, which actually makes me really sad for Kail now that I know that. Like, it makes me sad for her what Briana ultimately did to her. Like, whether you like Kail or not, whether you like Briana or not, you have to admit that Briana did Kail dirty by going behind her back as a friend and getting with her ex-husband. That is just wrong on so many levels. Kail then says that it was actually Brittany who called her before MTV made the announcement about Briana joining the show. Brittany's like, hey Kail, I just want to let you know that we're going to be joining Teen Mom 2. And so Kail's like, wait a second, like what happened to the plan where I was supposed to come to Florida to introduce you guys? And why is Brittany telling me this and not Briana? Briana's the one who's joining. She's the mom, right? When you add all of that together, the picture does not look good for Bri, but remember, this is Kail's perspective of things, right? It's a one side of the story, so take it with a grain of salt. So she actually then says that Briana never actually publicly or privately apologized about, the Chris accusations that she made, and so she doesn't understand why Briana was on TV acting that they could just work it out privately when Briana hasn't even made any steps to work it out privately, which I can understand. But again, you guys already know my position on the lawsuit. I think it's very frivolous because I think that Kail is playing with semantics there. And also there's a police report to kind of back up at least somewhat what it is that Briana is saying. Chris did ultimately file a police report claiming that Kail stepped somewhere on his mother's property without his permission and that she beat him up. And then she was charged with offensive touching. So it's not like Briana made this up out of thin air. And then her legal team actually subpoenaed Chris to testify, and he will testify that he said these things. So I don't think that Kail's gonna win that situation, but I digress. Next, Kail gets into Briana sending her a treadmill, sort of like to taunt her or whatever, which, again, I don't think is very nice. I don't think it's very fair. And I don't think Briana has any room to be sending anybody a treadmill, but again, I digress over there. So she says that overall, this is Kail, by the way, she was disappointed in the show. She felt like it wasn't, worth watching or anything like that, but she will continue to watch. Just to recap, which is funny because her own show, Teen Mom 2, isn't really worth watching. I watch it just to recap for you guys. So the same could be said over there. And a big part of why that's not, very much worth watching is because the main drama magnet or the main train wreck Kail has stopped really showing her genuine real life drama. So it really is the pot calling the kettle black in that situation, and she does sound at least slightly bitter about the fact that Teen Mom Family Reunion is being kind of heralded as something that Macy and Cheyenne came up with rather than what Kail claims she came up with. So I don't know. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A little bit of Kail's recap about Family Reunion's debut episode and some behind the scenes on her perspective. Remember, her perspective, everybody's perspective of everything that goes on is always going to favor them, right? So her perspective of what went down with Briana. So what do you think about it? Make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.